DL Trader here with today's trade recap for Monday 22nd of April. So first red day for me on the month. It was a max loss day and I have been scaling up, so it's a little bit bigger than I'd like, but inevitable. You are going to get red days, you are going to make mistakes, and it's about the lessons you take from that and what you do going forward into tomorrow. Not letting it get you down, get you emotional. Just come tomorrow to the market fresh, trade the same stuff, try and make the right decisions, and it should over time work its way out in the wash. So 2 tickets today, a little bit of a slower day. Was a little bit over keen perhaps, coming back from the 3-day weekend and having lots of nice green days, growing in size, growing in profits. So a little bit keen perhaps, and anyway, we'll run through the trades and see if I can make some sense of what happened, what I did right, what I did wrong. So MBRX, took this one in pre-market. Pre-market trading is something I don't often do. Let's see if I can get this chart looking reasonable as to what I was thinking. So we had a gap up, popped up on my moment scanner, which is kind of my signal for entry. I wait for things to top out and then short, risking higher day for backside. So it popped up pre-market, took this big move up, started pulling back. Let's see if I can draw that again. Started pulling back, testing high of day, tested high of day just here and failed, came back, put in a high low. So I got short here for basically a move lower. Wanted to get moved down here towards VWAP, cover some into the wash, start adding back on pops, working in that winner. But it did break the high of day, so I stopped out, correctly stopped out. So I was only in half size, popped through high of day, stopped out. So, 0.5R type loss. Now, just after my stop, it did do a really nice pullback. So I kind of felt like I was right, but got stuffed out. So a little bit annoyed with that. Tried not to let it affect me and waited for the open. Now this was the big problem. I waited for the open, it washed out massive, and I hit the bid, and just as I hit the bid, it did come down a couple of cents. So I was sort of trying to take a trade, risking here, but got a terrible entry. And then because of that terrible entry, it's going to bounce back up. And I didn't want to just take another big loss. So I ended up covering half into the bounce and then more lower. And really just, should have probably just completely, the minute I took that entry, should have just cut it off. Terrible entry, cut it off straight away and let it set up again. So what I ended up doing was having about a quarter size, held it into this move and got short here, risking this kind of level here and stopped out. Now, because I had a terrible average and I'm letting it ride up and I'm adding to the loser, it pops up and I end up taking a much bigger than I'd like to loss. The correct trade here is waiting for that push towards the pre-market high, waiting for a top out and fail, and then short here for a move lower. That's the trade. That's what I missed because of the poor entry. So entry is everything. Anyway, after this move, I realized that was the trade that I wanted, got short again, covered some into the wash, added back on the bounce, added more on the bounce, scaling in, set my stop, and once again, got my stop triggered. Now, this is a great stop because look at this move. The problem is I've taken two losses already. This is the third loss now. My red, the P&L is red P&L is starting to grow. After this move here, it really failed to break out. I felt like maybe it was a stuff move above pre-market's high, so got in short, added to the winner, covered some into the wash, and let it move around, stopped out, probably prematurely. Should let it test high of day first. So a little bit annoyed with myself again because I could have got some more covers into this wash. let it do its thing, and in the end, you know, as it did come and break high of day here, this happened to be a fairly decent stop. So, you know, if I hadn't stopped it here, I probably would have covered some here, added some back, covered some here, and it would eventually have gone on for a stop. But by that point, I probably would have been green, perhaps flat, made some back, so some of this loss is back. Anyway, so at this point, I left it alone, and I was looking at my other trade, which was Icon. Which also gave me a little bit of a headache. So Momo scanner, spike, felt like it had topped out here. So got short here for backside move down lower, added to the winner, but ended up stopping out on that high day break. Now that is a good stop. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with that trade. I mean, perhaps I'm a bit early, a bit keen. It's not got enough edge because it's not up enough or whatever. But you know, I'm happy with that loss there. So after it did make this move, got short again, covered into the wash, and then really scaled in some size after, you know, it did take this fairly big washout down here. So tried to really scale in for that backside, risking just above here. Ended up trimming half just to keep that loss small, and then stopped out on the rest. So another loss, you know, two losses on this one, and I'm nearly at max loss on the day. So trying to, you know, I left the screens, gave myself some space, came back when I saw MBRX was squeezing. I really tried to be patient for this trade and didn't want to, almost like I didn't want to take it, but if it presented an opportunity, I was going to try. So after it's rejected $2, so first of all, I'm waiting for a fairly decent pullback. We've got one down to here and one down to here. Now that's quite a big move up here. $2 rejected, so I got short for the backside. Quite small size. Ended up ended up taking the position off for flat. A little bit annoyed myself, so got back in and correctly covered into the wash there. Now, I was probably trading a little emotional because I was down on the day. You know, that really should have been an add there, and then a cover into this wash, and that would have been a fairly nice sort of green move. And ended up trimming some more here, but didn't take it all off. So again, carrying that poor average up, shorted into this rip, and had to stop out. Excuse me, my platform's just refreshing. So as I was saying, oh man, okay, let's go back to where we were. So didn't stop out, carried the poor average up, took one more short. I thought it was worth one more try. I felt like this was the last move, and I didn't want to miss it. So got short, risking high of day. Well, actually, no, I had smaller size, so I put my stop a little bit up here, giving it a little bit more wiggle room. Didn't want to get stuffed out, and just held on. I held on. And ended up taking out my stop, and I was done for the day. Max loss. Now, what MBRX went on to do, you know, is just rip and rip, pull back, another rip. So, you know, max loss is there for a reason. I felt like this was nearly the top here. Just goes to show you have no idea. You know, it's gone an extra $1 up. So without max loss, I would have kept trying to trade this. Probably made matters even worse. Got more emotional. And, you know, that's what it's there for. So overall, looking back at this chart, I'm fairly happy. I'll be keen to look at this chart tomorrow. See if it can have a day two. Hasn't quite reached that level there on the daily, so we'll see where it goes. So, you know, back to basics tomorrow. Be patient for entry, wait for the best setup, wait for it to top out, hit the short, add to winner, cover the washes, try and work that core position, and try and keep the losers small, you know, just try and do the right thing. Okay, that's all. Thanks, guys.